Evening all, Pikachu Z here. Tonight, I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to revisit this idiocy that I've seen, but I guess I have no choice. Because something has been irking me about this particular thing for the longest time. You know what? I think it's about time I address it. Yeah. It's about Chris Chan again. Great big fucking surprise. We're back to him again. But it's not just solely him. No, it's people like Chris Chan. People who like to use their autism as a crutch, as a way to get sympathy, and as a way to get pity out of people. But, you know, and what's so odd about that? Sometimes it actually works. Actually, yeah, it does, because sometimes people like Chris actually got people defending him. Why? I don't know. Because I guess they fell victim to his idiocy, and they decide they're gonna feel sorry for the punk. You know, I could say that about a lot of autistic people. I could say that about a few autistic people who probably do the exact same thing. Use their fucking autism as a way to get pity and as a way to get away with anything. And let me tell you something, as someone who has autism, I find that appalling. I find that disgusting. I find that just plain pathetic. You heard me right. I find it pathetic that, yes, you have autism. There's nothing anybody can do about it. You've got autism. But how about you do something constructive with it? Like, I don't know, try to make your life a bit more enjoyable. Try to make it a little more livable. But don't do like what Chris Chan does. Why? Because seriously, obviously, everybody knows what Chris Chan's done. Chris Chan has made himself one of the biggest jokes of all mankind. I'm sorry. But he will always be the butt of jokes. From here to probably 20 years from now, people will still make jokes on him if he continues on doing what he's doing. And I'm going to say this to some of these people who use their autism like the same way Chris does. Guess what? You're looking at your future. Because if you do that, you're going to end up like him. And do you really want to end up like Chris Chan? I wouldn't think so. As a matter, I think I would rather commit myself into a mental hospital than wind up like Chris Chan. But of course, like I said before, there are people out there who do defend him. And why do they do that? I have no freaking idea. I wish I did. Because a lot of people, I think it's so weird how I've seen people comment on other people's videos who made rants on Chris Chan, reviews on Chris Chan, and they tell them to quit picking with him. Well, you know what? The people who have made these rants, they say they're autistic too, and you know what? They have every right. Why? Because we as autistic people, we don't like autism being made mockeries of. And this is what Chris does. He makes everybody who has autism look bad. And that pisses me off. But, oh, guess what though? You know another thing that pisses me off about Chris Chan? He's actually trying to make a crusade against people with Asperger's syndrome, which is autism. Because he says, and I quote, that people with Asperger's are just using that as a way to steal the limelight from people who are truly autistic. I wish I was joking. I really wish, but I'm not. And that is just so full of bullshit. I can't imagine. There are no words to describe how much bullshit that is. There's no description. There's not a number out there that I can use to describe that. It's like, seriously, Chris, Asperger's is autism. And what you're doing is, you're crusading against your own kind. That's stupid. That is stupid, and it's ignorant. But look who we're talking about here. We're talking about someone who made a joke about 9/11, and that's one of the most inappropriate things you could do. He is homophobic to the note, which is kind of odd because didn't you, Chris Chan, dress up in your mother's underwear on camera? Yeah, for someone who says they're not gay, you really have a weird way of showing it. And let's see, and the fact that you refer to women as a female species, yeah, that's not gonna get you a woman, buddy. Or saying you want a boyfriend for your girlfriend, yeah, that's not gonna get you any woman. If you're gonna put your standards up that high, you ain't gonna get you're not gonna have no results. But then again, after the many embarrassing videos you've uploaded, what woman would want to be near you? That's my biggest question. But, as I was saying before, there are people who defend Chris Chan. And, like I said before, why do they do that? I don't know. Because I have a comment from someone. I'm not going to say their name. Why? Because I don't feel like it. But you can go to my Sonic Tube rant and you'll see it yourself. You'll see it yourself. And let me read it out. Let me read it to you. Let me read this to you. He's like, and yes, I will speak on the contradictions in this comment. Said, I will say this, at least this guy puts himself out there. How so? Because he talks about personal information about himself, you know, stuff that people shouldn't know about or people should care about. Like, oh, I don't know, the fact that he's high-functioning autistic, but yet he craps on himself still? And he says that's normal? Is that what you mean by putting yourself out there? Because if it is, why the hell would anybody want to put themselves out there? Okay. And it says here, he said he may be stupid, but he still does what he wants, despite everybody constantly bitching. Yeah, and that's the sad thing about Chris, because he doesn't learn from anything. He never will learn from anything because he's so sheltered from the outside world. Let's see. Okay, we know about Chris's faults. We don't know anything about the hundreds of people that hate the guy and say bad things about him nonstop. Because guess what? We're not that stupid. We don't do stupid things so people can talk about it. So let's see. I doubt there are too many that are big as a shipwreck. And the grammar in that statement is completely off. But at least you have the audacity to, and we don't know anything embarrassing about you guys. Maybe because we are not stupid enough to share that information on the internet. Maybe because it's no one else's business. And maybe because it's embarrassing, no one else should know about it. That's why we don't say nothing. That's why me and other autistic people, we don't say nothing. Because that's going to incriminate ourselves. And you know what? Coming on here and saying things like, oh, I crap myself constantly. Yeah, it's like you're holding up a sign saying, I'm internet troll bait. Yeah, basically, that's what you're doing. And here's another thing you say. Because you guys are too afraid to show yourselves. Yeah, maybe because some of us just don't have the money to get webcams. Or maybe some of us don't want to put ourselves out there. Because, you know, it would be so easy for some people just to pick at people's appearances. Because trolls are famous for doing that. So, the reason why I don't do it, because I like to keep people guessing. Because at least when anybody makes a comment on my appearance, they're wrong because they never seen me before. See? See, I poked holes all up in your comment, buddy. Poked holes in them. Because most of the statements in your comment had contradictions throughout. But enough about that. You know, if some of you people want to defend people like Chris Chan, to do this, you need to tell them this. Stop acting like idiots. Stop thinking you can get away with shit. You can't get away with shit. It doesn't matter if you have autism or not. That does not mean you got a go-free card to do whatever you want. But of course, seeing as how some people like Chris Chan or maybe Tuner 1994, maybe they've gotten so sheltered in their lives that they don't know better. And whose fault is that? Certainly ain't ours. But all I can say is this. People like Chris Chan, they need to wake up. They need to wake up and see what reality is, because if they don't, they're going to have a rude awakening. And I can assure you of this. They are not going to like what they see. They are going to hate it. And Chris Chan, all I can say about him is, if he don't cut the bullshit out, he's going to wind up in jail somewhere. But then again, that's what he's shooting for. Because for all the stuff he's done, I don't know why he hasn't been put up in jail yet. That's all I'm going to say. But like I said, to people out there who use autism as a crutch, stop it. Just stop it. I mean, if you have high-functioning autism, try to live with it. Try to brace with it. I mean, sure, having autism means you have some disadvantages, like you have short-term memories, or your social skills ain't all that good, or maybe your speech is off, like mine is sometimes. But sitting around pitying yourself and getting others to pity you, that's not the way to do it. No, it is not. It's not. And, you know, this is all I've got to say. To people out there with autism, just stop it, okay? You make people like you make the rest of us look bad because of your attitudes. You make us look bad. And if you want to help the autism community, stop acting like idiots. Stop acting like a twat. Stop acting like such big crybabies. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. And to others out there like T-Bone 2004 or Junior Fan, say, these guys, they're awesome. Because they know they got autism, but you don't see them going up into a corner or rolling up into a ball whining about it. Or trying to get other people to feel sorry for them. See? But that's all I gotta say. This has been Pikachu OZ. Good night, and good luck.